First questions from Fabian. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dave, you were talking about a little bit last night just about you didn't like the pitch selection some of you guys had offensively. Is there anything Arizona is doing pitching wise that has sort of surprised you guys' approach?
I think, I don't think that Gallen did anything different. I think that there was a lot of pitches that we just didn't, take advantage of. He was heavy fastball for me. I think that you look at the Merrill Kelly start, I think he threw a lot more cut fastballs into the righties or into the lefties than he had done in the past. As far as relievers, I don't think there was anything that was different than what we had anticipated. It was just more of really being, more selective to, pitch that we can handle, which I just don't think we've done as good of a job as we've been capable of. We're capable of.
How do you go about emphasizing that, especially today, sort of going into the rest of the series and try to obviously stay alive in the series?
Yeah, I think that is something that our hitting guys are talking to our guys about. We've got our backs against the wall, but I still think that, being mindful of just taking, one at bat, one quality at bat at a time, regardless of, how long they run their starter out there tomorrow and go to their bullpen or, regardless of the situation. And that's been something that we've pulled from this year that's been beneficial. And it's easy to kind of get away from that. But to the reset part of it is obviously it's really crucial where we're at.
And then with Lance, you talked about, especially in September, just making sure he sort of is more full throttle early on and starts. Do you feel like he's done a better job of that of late? And how much does that sort of play into tomorrow? Is obviously knowing he has Ryan behind him.
Yeah, I think he's pitched better with that mindset, and it's not about trying to chase velocity or overthrow or anything like that. It's just more of the mindset of we don't know how long you're going to go. You've got a lot of good arms behind you. And I do think that mindset is going to be benefit tomorrow. So, yeah, I don't know how long his start's going to be, but I feel really good about him making that start tomorrow.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Next question from Juan Toribio. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave, I'm just curious. With the offense, like when you're in a situation like this, to try and get them going, do you consider any like lineup the order decisions, or maybe getting guys like Chris or Kike who haven't gotten a lot of at bats in the game, or do you just kind of trust the guys that you've been rolling with all season?
Yeah, I think it's something I'm going to think about tonight. I've thought about it today. There is that balance of looking at it at it's only 2 games, but the other part of it is, that sense of urgency because this is do or die now. And so I do love the at-bats Kike has been taking and kind of trying to figure out if, changing the lineup a little bit as far as structure makes sense. But it's something I'm certainly contemplating, and I'll decide ultimately tomorrow. But, yeah, that's a great thought. Yeah, Juan, I have thought about it.
And also, is this like to get the offense going? Is this as simple as maybe getting like Mookie and Freddie going, or like do you need some of those other guys to kind of step up? Like, how do you see that? Like, what do you think is maybe the answer?
I think it's I think the simple answer is getting Mookie and Freddie going. But there's still other guys in there that potentially that bleed into Freddie and Mookie that could open some things up for them too. Some situational at bats. I think it's still a collective team effort that has to be for us to be sustainable, throughout the rest of the postseason, and obviously to win a ball game tomorrow. So I think for me, it's everybody. We all got to be accountable to being better with the team offense.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Next question from Harry Castillo. Go ahead.
Dave, I got to ask, why are we doing this over Zoom? Where are you? You guys are working out here.
Yeah, you know what? I was going to stay away. I was going to be there. I was there for the other workout, and there was a meeting over here at the hotel, so I stuck around here.
A meeting with the front office?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm just wondering, as field manager, I know you guys talked about the last 2 days about the cohesion you guys have, everyone showing up to the workout on Sunday. How do you balance not being here with the team, your guys here working out versus being with the front office?
There's a lot of guys that just wanted to stay away too, and I think that for me, I want guys to, for some people they need to be there, they want to be there, and some guys I think it's great that they stay away, and so that's why it's optional. And I think as much time as we spend together, some guys need to be away. And for me, I welcome that. There's no, cookie cutter one way to do things. And we had a lot of guys show up. I think everyone showed up on Sunday. And so today for me, I feel it's okay for them to be away if they need to.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next question is from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, Dave, getting back to Mookie and Freddie. Mookie really cooled off in September. Freddie was saying last night he hasn't been happy with his swing for a few weeks. How surprised are you to see them start off 1 for 13?
I'm surprised. I think that, going into, this series, I thought, Mookie swung the bat well in the week before as far as the simulated games. I thought Freddie was swinging well, but, I've talked to Freddie and he doesn't feel like his swing is great. But, I think it's just one of those things where, it's 2 games and I understand that things are more magnified, but, 1 game, 1 at bat could change things. And so for me, that's what my expectation is. And, I was joking with Freddie, I think it was in 21 where he had 2 really bad games against us. And he came back in that 3rd game with the base hit to left field and another one. And then he took off. So for me, it can change with 1 at bat. And I expect the same thing with Mookie.
Yeah, we've talked about the familiarity between these 2 teams, but how good a job do you think the Diamondbacks have done scouting you and putting together a game plan in these first 2 games?
They've done a great job. I can't, I think that, as far as their approach to the hitting, I think that they were aggressive versus Clayton. I think with Bobby, same thing. We have a lot of guys that, fill up the strike zone. And with that part of it, I think that the stealing of bases, I think that's part of who they are. And, there's been some bases that they've taken. So I think that part of it, I think, is something that we just got to continue to be mindful of, try to keep these guys off the base. And so I think they've done a really nice job and they've played good baseball.
How about the pitching half of that and the way they've approached your lineup?
I think, I don't think there's been much difference as far as on the relief side of things. I think it's been more, Merrill Kelly early, like I said, threw a lot more cut fastballs than he ever has versus the fastball changeup, breaking ball mix. And then with Gallen, I think there was more fastballs than we probably anticipated. We had a chance to hit and just really couldn't capitalize on. So we'll see tomorrow. But outside of those 2 guys, it wasn't much different than we expected on the pitching side.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Next question is from Jack Harris. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, Dave, with the offense, and especially, when you talked about expanding the zone, chasing a little bit, how much of that is a factor? Just, I think every at bat you guys have taken, you've been down by multiple runs in this series. Is there just a level of pressing that goes on when you guys are playing from behind like this?
I think there's some of that. I think that's fair. The ability to try to, minimize that feeling, that anxiety is important, but it's real. Certainly when you're, playing an elimination game. So I think there's a little bit of it when you're down 6-0 or down 3-0 to try to get it back in one swing, which we all know can't happen. But I think just to focus on trying to put together good at-bats as a team and expect good results and create run-scoring situations is the best way to go about it. But yeah, I mean, the reality is there's an extra anxiousness in the batter's box that we've got to curtail.
And with the bullpen, like I know those guys hadn't pitched a lot before last night, but you had to push them pretty hard. Your back end guys, is that something you can do again with these couple games coming up if you need to? Having all of them go multiple innings last night, does that limit how much you can use them in these two games? Kind of where are they at right now?
I think you can. Yeah. I mean, I think that pushing them is a question for each guy differently. I think that what we did with Joe, I wouldn't expect certainly that tomorrow, because also we have to appreciate that we still need to win 3 games. And so, how do you thread that needle with all the arms at our disposal is going to be the question. So when we get there tomorrow, see how guys feel on game day, and then we'll be able to kind of reassess where guys are at.
And then when going back to kind of what Juan was asking about the lineup changes, the fact that, Arizona probably going to have a shorter leash with Fott tomorrow, does that factor in at all to kind of how you look at, the lineup you throw out there, which guys you keep on the bench for pinch hitting opportunities later? Does that change when you're not facing one of their top 2 guys?
It does. It's certainly, plays into my decision as far as the lineup construction and who's in the lineup. Absolutely.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everybody.